Many people believe that time is something they can control, yet in truth, time is not in our hands. The sun will rise and it will set. The seasons will change and years will pass, with or without our permission. What we can control, however, is how we choose to live within that time. Every moment wasted is not just a loss of minutes, it is a loss of potential, of growth, of the person you could have become. If you want self-improvement, if you want transformation, then you must begin by managing the most precious resource you already have: your time. Because the way you use your time is the way you shape your life. Time is not something that waits for us. It moves forward regardless of whether we are ready or not, regardless of whether we are aware or not. The hours will continue to pass, the days will continue to unfold, and the years will continue to build one upon another. This is the first truth about time. It is not under our control. What is under our control, however, is the way we interact with it. The way we choose to spend the hours, how we direct our attention, and what we allow to occupy our focus. This is where the key to self-improvement lies. Many people believe that they lack discipline, motivation, or energy. But if we look deeper, what they truly lack is clarity in how they manage their time. Without this clarity, even the most motivated person will find themselves drifting, constantly reacting to circumstances, instead of deliberately creating the conditions for growth. When we speak about time management, many imagine calendars, schedules, alarms, and strict routines. But this is not the essence of it. True time management begins with awareness, the awareness that every single decision we make is an investment of our time. Scrolling through endless distractions, engaging in conversations that drain energy, or postponing tasks until tomorrow, all of these are investments. And the return on such investments is usually regret. On the other hand, choosing to dedicate time to reading, to physical training, to mindful reflection, to building meaningful relationships, these are also investments. And the return on these is growth, strength, and inner stability. The first step of time management for self-improvement is therefore not about filling every minute with activity, but about realizing that time is currency. You are spending it every moment, whether you are aware of it or not. Imagine for a moment that every day you are handed a purse filled with 24 golden coins. Each coin represents 1 hour. You cannot store these coins. You cannot save them for tomorrow. By the end of the day, they will all be gone. Some people spend their coins on things that make them stronger, wiser, and calmer. Others spend them on things that make them weaker, more restless, more distracted. The difference between these two kinds of people is not luck or destiny, but the conscious recognition of how precious each coin is. The truth is, nobody is stealing your time. It is you who decides how it is being spent. And the moment this realization takes root, your relationship with time changes. You begin to see that it is not about doing more, but about doing what truly matters. There is another important aspect to consider. Many people treat time as if it is an enemy. They say, "I don't have time. Time is running out. Time is against me." But this mindset creates tension. If you see time as an enemy, you will always feel rushed, pressured, and anxious. Instead, learn to see time as a teacher. A teacher that reminds you of impermanence, that teaches you to value the present, and that shows you the cost of procrastination. When you see time as a teacher, you begin to understand that every delay is a missed lesson. Every distraction is a missed opportunity, and every moment of focus is a chance to move forward. In this way, time becomes a guide toward self-improvement instead of a chain that holds you back. The question, then, is not how to manage time in the traditional sense. The real question is, how do you manage yourself within the time that is given to you? This requires discipline, but not the harsh kind of discipline that many fear. It requires the gentle discipline of returning to what is essential. It means asking yourself, is what I am doing now serving the person I want to become? If the answer is no, then you are spending your golden coins on illusions. If the answer is yes, then even if progress feels slow, you are building something that will last. This principle applies to all areas of life. In training the body, consistent use of time leads to strength and resilience. In cultivating the mind, consistent use of time leads to wisdom and clarity. In nurturing relationships, consistent use of time leads to trust and connection. Nothing worthwhile is built overnight. It is built coin by coin, hour by hour, choice by choice. Time management is therefore not about control, but about conscious direction. It is about aligning your hours with your values and your days with your vision. When you start to see your time in this way, life begins to feel different. Ordinary moments gain weight. A single hour of deep focus can feel more powerful than an entire day of distraction. A few minutes of meaningful conversation can feel more enriching than hours of empty talk. Slowly, you begin to realize that the quality of your life is not determined by how much time you have, but by how you use the time you are given. This is the heart of self-improvement. It does not begin with grand gestures or sudden transformations. It begins with the small, quiet, deliberate choices you make each day with the golden coins of time that life places in your hands. Discipline without clarity often feels like a burden. People force themselves into routines, attempt to copy systems of others, or try to imitate the lifestyles of those they admire. But this imitation cannot last long, because what is borrowed is never truly owned. The second key to time management for self-improvement is therefore clarity of purpose. Without knowing why you are doing something, no schedule will have meaning. A calendar filled with tasks may give the illusion of productivity, but if those tasks are disconnected from your values and vision, you will only end up exhausted and confused. Clarity is the compass that directs how your time should be spent. When you know why you are moving, you no longer waste energy on questioning whether the movement is worth it. Clarity comes from asking yourself difficult questions. Who do you want to become? What kind of life do you wish to create? What skills, habits, or qualities do you want to strengthen? These questions may appear simple, but answering them with honesty takes courage. Many avoid them because the answers often reveal uncomfortable truths. They expose the hours wasted in distraction, the opportunities lost through hesitation, the comfort zones that have turned into invisible prisons. But without confronting these truths, clarity cannot emerge, and without clarity, time management becomes an empty ritual. You might wake up early, you might organize your tasks, but in the end, you are simply running faster in the wrong direction. There is a teaching in martial arts that says, if your sword is not sharpened, it does not matter how strong your arm is. In the same way, if your mind is not clear, it does not matter how much discipline you try to apply. You will be cutting through empty air. Clarity sharpens your vision. It helps you distinguish between what is essential and what is noise. Most people struggle with time management, not because they lack time, but because they spend it on things that are not truly important. They mistake urgency for importance and busyness for progress. But once clarity is established, this confusion disappears. You begin to see that some tasks, though urgent, do not bring you closer to your purpose. And some tasks, though quiet and unnoticed, carry the weight of transformation. To cultivate clarity, you must learn to pause. Silence is often uncomfortable for those who are used to constant movement. But silence is where clarity is born. When you stop for a moment, when you withdraw from the noise of the outside world, your inner voice begins to speak. This inner voice does not shout, it whispers. It reminds you of what truly matters, of what you have been neglecting, and of what direction you should take. If you do not create time for silence, you will forever be carried away by the noise of others. The opinions of society, the expectations of family, the comparisons with peers. These will fill your calendar, but they will not fill your heart. Only clarity can do that. Once clarity is present, the way you use time naturally changes. You stop chasing after every opportunity because you understand that not every opportunity is meant for you. You stop saying yes to everything because you realize that every yes to something unimportant is a no to something essential. You stop treating your time as something others can freely take because you understand its value. This shift is powerful because it turns your schedule from a prison into a path. The tasks you engage in no longer feel like obligations. They feel like steps. And each step, even the small ones, takes you closer to the life you want to live. Clarity also brings patience. When you know your direction, you are no longer obsessed with speed. You understand that growth cannot be rushed, just as a tree cannot be forced to grow overnight. You focus instead on consistency, on showing up daily, on aligning your actions with your vision. This patience protects you from the trap of comparison. You do not waste time measuring your journey against others, because you know where you are going and you trust the process. Without clarity, time is often wasted in envy and restlessness. With clarity, time becomes a steady river that carries you forward. It is important to recognize that clarity is not a one-time discovery. Life changes, experiences shape us, and our vision evolves. Therefore, clarity must be renewed again and again, just as the lens of a camera needs to be adjusted to bring things into focus. Your clarity must be adjusted as you move through different stages of life. What was meaningful 5 years ago may no longer hold the same weight today. The discipline of returning to these questions. Who am I becoming? What do I value? Where do I wish to direct my energy? Is what keeps your clarity alive. Without this renewal, even the best system of time management will eventually collapse. The deeper the clarity, the simpler the choices become. Complexity falls away because you are no longer trying to do everything. You are trying to do what matters. You are no longer trying to please everyone. You are aligning with what is true to you. This simplicity saves time, conserves energy, and amplifies progress. What once felt like a struggle now feels like alignment. The hours you spend become infused with meaning, and the smallest actions begin to carry significance. And this is why clarity is the second key. Because without it, all effort is scattered, but with it, even the smallest effort becomes powerful. Energy is the fuel that drives the use of time. Even if you have clarity of purpose and the awareness of how precious each hour is, without energy you cannot move. A tired body cannot perform at its best, a distracted mind cannot focus deeply, and a restless spirit cannot find harmony. This is why the third key to time management for self-improvement is learning how to manage your energy. Time is limited, but energy can be cultivated, preserved, and renewed. How you treat your energy determines the quality of the hours you spend. Two people may both have the same 24 hours, but the one with disciplined energy will achieve what feels impossible to the one who has allowed their energy to leak away. Energy is not only physical, it is also mental and emotional. Physical energy depends on how you care for your body, how you rest, how you move, and how you nourish yourself. Mental energy depends on the quality of your thoughts, the level of focus you train, and the kind of information you allow into your mind. Emotional energy depends on the relationships you cultivate, the environment you live in, and the way you handle stress. All three layers are interconnected. If the body is neglected, the mind suffers. If the mind is restless, the emotions are unstable. If the emotions are heavy, the body feels exhausted. This cycle shows why energy management is not about one single practice, but about balance. Neglecting one part of your energy will always affect the others. When it comes to physical energy, discipline with rest and activity is crucial. Many people believe productivity means constantly being active, always pushing, never stopping. But the human body is not a machine. Without rest, even the strongest system will collapse. Sleep, recovery, and mindful breathing are not weaknesses, they are foundations. On the other hand, Too much comfort weakens the body just as much. A body that never moves becomes stiff, heavy, and fragile. Physical training, stretching, movement, and mindful exercise keep energy flowing. In martial arts, the body is not trained only for combat, but for life. A strong body is a vessel that can carry clarity and discipline through the challenges of time. When the body feels light, the mind can focus, and when the mind can focus, time is used with power. Mental energy requires careful attention to focus. Distraction is the greatest thief of time because it drains energy without leaving anything behind. Every time you switch from one task to another, your mind spends energy on transition. Every time you allow meaningless noise to enter your awareness, your energy is consumed. Protecting your focus is therefore one of the most important ways to manage your energy. This means creating environments that reduce distraction, training yourself to engage deeply in one task at a time, and learning to say no to information that does not serve your purpose. Just as the body becomes stronger through repeated training, the mind becomes sharper through repeated focus. Over time, you develop the ability to enter deep concentration quickly and sustain it without being easily disturbed. This skill alone multiplies the value of your hours. Emotional energy often goes unnoticed, yet it has the most subtle influence on time. A single conflict with someone close can drain an entire day. Carrying resentment or anger can make even productive hours feel heavy. On the other hand, being surrounded by people who uplift and inspire you can make time feel lighter, more meaningful, and more enjoyable. Protecting your emotional energy requires honesty about the environments and relationships you allow yourself to engage with. It means reducing exposure to negativity, drama, and toxic patterns. It means nurturing gratitude, calmness, and compassion. When emotional energy is stable, it does not matter how challenging your tasks are, you approach them with balance. Another important aspect of energy management is learning how to renew yourself throughout the day. People often wait for long breaks or vacations to recover, but true energy renewal is built into daily life. A few minutes of mindful breathing can reset your focus. A short walk can refresh your body. A pause for reflection can clear your mind. Small rituals of renewal, practiced consistently, ensure that your energy does not completely deplete before the day is finished. This allows you to give each hour more depth and presence. Instead of dragging yourself through tasks with low energy, you are able to meet them with alertness and intention. Energy also depends on alignment. When you force yourself to spend hours on tasks that contradict your values, your energy drains quickly. But when your actions are aligned with your clarity, energy flows naturally. This is why people often feel energized even after hard work, if that work is meaningful, while they feel exhausted after spending time on activities that hold no true importance. Meaning fuels energy. When the mind and the heart are connected to what you are doing, time becomes a source of strength instead of a burden. Energy leaks must also be recognized and closed. These leaks appear in many forms: constant worry about the future, regret over the past, endless scrolling through distractions, meaningless conversations, and trying to control things outside of your influence. Each of these takes small pieces of energy until you feel drained without understanding why. Becoming aware of these leaks is the first step to closing them. When you consciously reduce what drains you, you create more space for what renews you. This change transforms the way you experience time. The discipline of energy management is not about adding more tasks to your schedule. It is about learning to protect, nurture, and direct the strength you already have. By doing so, each hour you spend becomes sharper, clearer, and more impactful. Time, clarity, and energy together form a foundation that allows self-improvement to grow steadily, without unnecessary waste. Habits are the invisible architecture of life. They are the quiet, repeated actions that determine how your time, clarity, and energy are expressed in daily existence. This is the fourth key to time management: for self, improvement, the conscious creation and cultivation of habits. Many people underestimate the power of small, repeated behaviors. They search for dramatic changes, sudden breakthroughs, or life-altering events. But in reality, the shape of a person's life is built from the patterns they follow every day. The habits you choose either guard your time or waste it, strengthen your energy or weaken it, sharpen your clarity or blur it. In the end, your habits reveal the truth about what you value. Because what you repeat is what you prioritize. Habits have a unique relationship with time. A single action may seem insignificant, but when repeated daily, it compounds into powerful results. Reading for 10 minutes in one day might not feel important, but reading 10 minutes every day for a year creates knowledge that separates you from who you were before. Training for a short session might not seem transformative, but training regularly builds a body that can endure challenges for years to come. Just as water carves stone not through force, but through persistence, habits carve character through consistency. The secret of time management is therefore not filling your hours with more tasks, but embedding the right habits into your life, so they become automatic and require little thought. It is important to understand that habits are formed whether you are conscious of them or not. Reaching for your phone first thing in the morning is a habit. Delaying important work until the last minute is a habit. Spending hours in distraction is a habit. The question is not whether you have habits, but whether they are aligned with your vision of self-improvement. If you are not deliberate, habits will form around convenience and comfort. They will pull you toward the easiest actions, which often provide temporary pleasure, but long-term emptiness. To redirect this, you must consciously design habits that serve you rather than weaken you. This requires awareness of your current patterns and the courage to replace what no longer serves your growth. The process of creating a habit is less about force and more about repetition. Many people fail because they try to change too much at once. They create a rigid plan, attempt to transform overnight, and when they cannot sustain it, they give up. But true habit formation respects the rhythm of the mind and body. Start with something small, something almost too easy to fail. Repeat it consistently until it becomes part of your identity. A person who reads one page every day eventually becomes a reader. A person who takes one conscious breath every morning eventually becomes mindful. A person who does a few push-ups daily eventually becomes stronger. Habits are not about the size of the action, but the permanence of the pattern. Another key to habits is environment. It is difficult to maintain discipline in an environment filled with triggers that pull you away from your intentions. If you keep your phone beside your bed, distraction becomes your morning ritual. If unhealthy food is always within reach, nutrition becomes a constant battle. By shaping your environment, you shape your habits. Place books where you can see them. Prepare your training clothes the night before. Design your workspace to invite focus instead of distraction. This simple adjustment allows habits to form naturally, without constant resistance. Environment is silent but powerful. It either supports your discipline or undermines it. Habits also require patience, because their results are invisible in the beginning. This invisibility is why so many abandon them. You meditate for a week and feel no transformation. You train for a month and see little change. You practice a skill and remain a beginner. But just like seeds planted in the ground, growth is hidden before it becomes visible. Habits operate beneath the surface, building roots before showing results. The patience to continue without immediate reward is what separates those who transform their lives from those who give up too soon. When the results finally appear, they seem sudden, but in truth, they are the outcome of countless invisible repetitions. It is also necessary to recognize the role of identity in habit formation. If you see yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, every action will feel forced. But when you begin to align habits with identity, they become natural. Instead of saying, I want to read, you say, I am a reader. Instead of saying, I want to exercise, you say, I am someone who trains. Identity anchors habits into your sense of self. Once this happens, the habit is no longer something you do, it is something you are. And when something becomes part of who you are, sustaining it requires less effort because it aligns with your inner story. Habits also determine the trajectory of your future. Every repeated action is a step toward becoming a certain kind of person. If your habits are careless, your future will reflect that carelessness. If your habits are intentional, your future will reflect that intention. Time magnifies habits, turning them into results. This is why small, positive habits hold so much power. They may seem insignificant in the moment, but given enough time, they separate those who grow from those who remain stagnant. Through habits, time is not wasted in decision-making, energy is not drained in constant resistance, and clarity is not lost in chaos. Habits automate what is important, leaving space for focus on deeper challenges. They act as silent allies in the pursuit of self-improvement, guiding your daily actions toward the vision you have set for yourself. The deliberate shaping of habits is therefore not a minor detail in time management, but one of its strongest foundations. Time is not in our control, yet within it lies the chance to transform ourselves. We cannot slow it down, we cannot pause it, we cannot hold on to it, but we can decide how to live within the hours we are given. This is why awareness of time is the beginning. When you see each hour as a golden coin, you begin to spend it with care. This awareness is the first step toward change. Clarity then becomes the compass. Without it, you move in circles, confusing business with progress. With it, you know what truly matters, and you align your choices with your deeper values. Clarity brings direction to your days and meaning to your efforts. It transforms wasted time into purposeful time. Energy is the force that allows clarity and awareness to become action. A focused mind, a resilient body, and a balanced heart turn ordinary hours into powerful ones. Protecting your energy, renewing it, and closing the leaks that drain it ensures that every moment you spend carries weight and strength. And finally, habits anchor all of this into daily life. They are the bridge between intention and reality. What you repeat becomes who you are. Small, deliberate actions performed consistently shape character more deeply than grand but rare gestures ever could. Habits allow your values to take form in the rhythm of your days. Time, clarity, energy, and habits are not separate lessons. They are connected, like the four corners of a foundation. Together they build the structure of self-improvement. And as you live each day with awareness, as you align with clarity, protect your energy, and cultivate strong habits, you realize that managing time is not about control over hours. It is about mastery over yourself.